Bora Boye. One, two. Bora Boye. One, two, 1, 2. All right. A little failure to get us started today.
Boye, gbogbo awo. Àbọ̀rù bọ̀yé ẹ̀yin babaláwo. Èèyàn ìbọ̀rù bọ̀yé òyàn.
Good morning. This is a little Fakola day of Idinkai Fa Temple. We want to begin today with morning prayers. Sure. Mojo ba loro, mojo ba leda, mojo ba loro mare, mojo ba bobo romale, mojo ba bobo male, mojo ba bobo wait until the loro mare. Mojo ba Miss, mojo dear Lucy Dainsmer, mojo ba Darce Hall, mojo ba Basemer Senior, mojo ba Daniels, mojo ba Clifford Daniels Rockers, mojo ba Diamond, mojo ba Zion, mojo ba Nava, mojo ba Clifford Holmes, mojo ba Clifford Watkins, mojo ba Johnny Dunn, mojo ba Katie Bradley, mojo ba Oscar Bradley, mojo ba James O'Riggs, mojo ba Benino Chino, Wando no Black Dennis, I've seen them no, mojo ba. Oba Osejaman, I did from the first. Mojo ba, I will metal Hochizano. I won't baba. If I would call on Ogun Ejiogbe, he hears people's pleas and accepts the pleas. He hears people's pleas and approves of the pleas. He who talks to people and ensures that the talk is completely absorbed. He hears people's pleas and accepts the pleas. His name is Ba. He hears people's pleas and approves of the pleas. Is the name of Eshodar. He hears people's pleas and ensures that the talk is completely absorbed. Is the name of Orishanla. Orishanla, you're the person who mows human pings. The person who mows one cannot fail to impress one. The strike frog is when someone's rainfall. The bullfrog is when someone's downpour. It is whatever the Akira poem. True tells earth, world earth accepts. Whatever the big rat tells earth, the world the earth accepts. All what I tell you about, please accept and improve them. Otorete. To show gratitude upon gratitude, Ziava gratitude, to display benevolence upon benevolence, is Ziava benevolence. Whoever does not show gratitude for yesterday's benevolence, such a person will not receive today's gratuity. These were the declarations of Deepak to the 401 Arumla. I'm going to marry Ope, daughter of Vishbuji. These were also declarations of Deepak to Arumla. I'm going to marry Ope, daughter of Vishbuji. I am grateful. I see my gratuity. I'm grateful for yesterday's favor. I'll see today's gratuity. Well, to right there, we're very grateful. I share. Awa dupe. Awa bure, awa dupe, awa bure, adupe, na awa bure, Olodumare, awa dupe, awa bure, awa dupe, awa bure, adupe, na awa bure, awa dupe, awa bure, awa dupe, awa bure, adupe, na awa bure, Oh, Lord, divine and divinity, please forgive us. Forgive us for any time that we have broken our taboo, anything that we've done wrong, incorrect. Please forgive us. Eros to counting down without super can be very difficult to consume. These were the declarations of Deepak to the Tutu, the child of Alexander Ragoon. He was full of bad character. He was bad attitude that prevented him from entering Deepak's domain. Now come to the list on behalf of the Tutu. We've come to beg on behalf of the Tutu. Father, please be patient, overlook this provocation. Those who beg on behalf of Tutu, the room is fundamentally. Those who beg on behalf of Tutu, how many children does Ifa have that he's passing out? Those who beg on behalf of Tutu, Ifa, we call on the old Ifa, Ogbelar. Orumla said it's time to sleep. I quit, it's time to sleep. When the day dawned, I met Orumla in the 16th room, where he covered his head with a flowing gown full of lights. He was wearing a dress full of bloodstains. He was snoring heavily. They told him that delegates from his side brought. Orumla inquired of what the delegate brought. They told him they brought 2 rats swift and running, 2 fish braced from swimming, 2 birds swift in flight, and 2 goats with big livers. Orumla said that is not enough to wake him up. I admit my ignorance, please educate me. Motuna Karaba. I hide myself in your bosom and survive. Motuna Karaba. The dog carrying masqueraded me, Sagbajon repeatedly. The dog carrying masqueraded me, Sagbajon repeatedly to perform rituals to the children. You are the leaders, we're the followers. Leaders are the ones who show the followers wisdom. Aruna told them to get alligator pepper, to get cola nut, to get bitter cola, to get alcohol. This couple got the alligator pepper, he got the cola nut, got the bitter cola, and he got the alcohol. That is right. And now that he's fully awake, Aruna, when you are fully awake, please look at me with eyes of compassion. It is with eyes of compassion that the heavenly stars usually look at the stars below. Aruna, fully awake, please look at me with eyes of help. 1, 2. Secure great wealth. There's such good eyes that the heavenly stars usually look at the stars below. Aruma, when you're fully awake, please look at me with eyes of help. 1, 2. Secure a good spouse. There's such good eyes my spouse should use and look at me with. Aruma, when you're fully awake, please look at me with eyes of help. 1, 2. Bear many children and such good eyes a child should use and look at a well-decorated plate. Before long, not too far, join us in the midst of all Iran life. Sure. If I call on to ward off all death, sickness, cases, controversy, ward off fights, ward off the challenges from us, and bring forth to us long life, good spouse, good children, longevity, prosperity, victory over adversity, peace of mind, and all the good things of life. We call on the old Ifa, Oshe, Tura, Akekini Bagisa, the abstract sharply against the tree. Kasifa for Rumon, he used to receive Iba and Ashe from Olodamar. I keep getting back this sound in the mouth of the was like Dibanash and the mouth of wall. If no one tells you have joy, you should surely have joy. I kick it back inside, the mouth one side, Dibanash and the mouth of wall. If no one tells you have victory, you surely have victory. I kick it back inside, the mouth one side, Dibanash and the mouth of wall. If no one tells you have peace, surely peace. I kick it back inside, the mouth one side, Dibanash and the mouth of wall. If no one tells you have 7-figure income, you should surely have 7-figure income. I kick it back inside, the mouth one side, Dibanash and the mouth one. So it seems, maybe so surely shall it be. I share. Tiny of the feet of two. The stripe of a chameleon is not big enough to be his headgear. Had it been enough to be his headgear, I would have taken it home and adorned my head with it. These who cause decoration to Aruela when going on a spiritual mission to Ejebulan. We call on locusts being sent pay money, on salsa and make a rich. We call on Aruela. Osha Aruela is a good hour. We ask at this time that you would come and support us. I share. Àṣẹ òrìṣà lẹ́nu mi o, àṣẹ òrìṣà lẹ́nu mi. Gbogbo ohun tí mo bá màmá wí o, ìlú mọ̀lẹ́ ó bà. Ifá ó bá o, àṣẹ òrìṣà lẹ́nu mi. Tí mo dúró, tí mo súré, bí mo bẹ̀rẹ̀, tí mo súré, bí mo kúnlẹ̀, tí mo súré. At this time, we want to pay homage to our Ori. Ori ani larure ani Ori ani larure ani mojulo mi fa wa mori Ori ani larure ani. Ashe. Boborecha su Ifá ọba lọ́run àtìbàjájú Ifá ọba lọ́run ó ṣe àrú ìlà Ifá ti bọ́. Olodumare and the divinities, we call on you at this time to support us. Support us in warding off death, warding off sickness, cases, controversy, COVID-19, Omicron, Omarion, the Delta variant. Please, at this time, remove these negative things from our path. Remove challenges, remove obstacles from us. And in its place, bring to us long life. Give us good health, good spouse, good children, peace of mind, joy, healing, success, wealth, and all the good things of life. Ifa, we ask that you would support us. At this time, we ask that you would support us in having a good and wonderful temple service today, Ile Juba, on the topic of Barren with children. Ifa, I ask that you would move my ego out of the way so that we can hear a word of Ifa. Help us to hear a good piece of Ifa that will assist and enrich our lives. I thank you, Olodumare, for the lives of my wife, my children. I thank you for their support. I thank you for the support of my parents, family, loved ones, and elders at this time. Please support us, Ifa, as we try to attempt to achieve our destiny. Emma kamemeni amo, Emma kamemeni ano, Emma kamemeni adelo kunu, tamwole tori fa loni mi, ebora timpanini, eni banami, ahun ati fa lelejo, ashe. All right, thank you all so much for tapping in with us. Once again, this is Olu Fakola Day of Idin Fa Temple. Thank you all. We want to give you an interesting temple service today. It's going to be pretty deep on the concept of barren with children. So I wanted to take a different approach to not only the process of childbearing and child rearing. I wanted to take a different approach to this today. I want to take an approach that will kind of r- unveil some of the texture of it is to not only be a parent, but also what it is in terms of being a parent today, the complexities of what it means, and also analyze the nature of good character in relationship to parenting. So, in terms of this, I want to begin by discussing the concept of the title, Barren with Children. In terms of this, I want to ask us all the question: are we barren with children? What does that even mean? To have a child and to have bad character can actually remove your child from your possession. A child is a blessing. And to have a child, but to raise that child with poor character, to raise that child with a bad example, that also is something that will ensure that our child is removed from us. There's so many ways to have a child. In terms of these ways of having a child, you don't have to give birth to a child in order to have a child. You can have children that your spouse has and you marry into having children. You can adopt children, have children in your spiritual community, your godchildren. You have children that are in your general vicinity that you adopt, but they are people who look at you as an example. So when we speak of having children or nurturing or rearing children, our brothers, our little brothers, our little sisters are our children. Our nieces, our nephews are our children. Those individuals who are our subordinates, those individuals who look to us for support, they too are examples of our children. But interestingly enough, our behavior is the thing that helps or hinders us in the life of raising these children. Let's analyze the concept of barrenness. Barrenness. What is barrenness? Barrenness is essentially emptiness. Emptiness, it is the inability to produce. Barrenness is also, in general, infertility. But the contradiction or the contrast of barren and having children, or infertile but fertile, or infertile but giving birth. The complexity of that is barrenness is also the lack of good character. Lack of good character makes us barren. Bad character robs us of the ability to produce. Bad character robs us of the ability to be fertile. This is the barrenness that I'm speaking about today. The barrenness of one's character. So, in many ways, due to the example, due to the way we raise and rear our children, we can barren even though we have children. On the Odu Ifa, Ogbe Alara Ifa says, if we strike Ragba gong against Calabash, that which we are after is good character. Good character. If we strike Ragba gong against a rope, that which we are after is character. Good character. If we strike Ragba against a rock, that which we are after is character. Good character. These were Ifa's declarations to Orumila when he was going to marry Iwa, the daughter of Oba Le Yo Ajori. He was advised to offer Ebo. Alara, were you able to find Iwa for me? Iwa, character. What we are seeking is character, good character. Ajero, were you able to seek and find Iwa for me? Iwa, character. What we seek is character, good character. Owarangun, were you able to find Iwa for me? Iwa, character. What we seek is character, good character. If one becomes rich without good character, the wealth belongs to someone else. That which we are after is good character. If one is blessed with a good spouse, without good character, the spouse belongs to someone else. That which we are after is character, good character. If we are blessed with children without good character, the children belong to someone else. That which we are after is character, good character. If we are blessed with houses without good character, those houses belong to someone else. What we seek is character, good character. If we are blessed with all array of life without good character, that all array belongs to someone else. That which we are after is character, good character. This is a very powerful and interesting verse because this Ifa tells us about one of the wives of Orunmila and talks about the children of Orunmila. And in terms of if we do not have good character, then the good things, the blessings that we were given in this world, they don't belong to us. What does that mean? Ifa means that those great and good things will be removed from us. They'll be taken away from us. That's what Ifa is saying. Those great blessings will be moved. I want to tell you a verse of Ejioge. This Ifa says, Ifa says when the day dawns, we should extend greetings to one another. Failure to extend greetings to one another amounts to holding us. Failure to extend greetings to a particular person constitutes holding malice against that person. Castifa for Olurombi, when she said she would no longer greet Ifa. They asked her why. She said that it is because she had been following Ifa for a long time to no avail. Orunmila woke up early in the morning and said, "Good morning, Olurombi." She said, "Huh, huh." Orunmila asked her why was she mumbling and grumbling and complaining. She said she did not have a husband. She did not have stable home. She did not have good things in life. Orunmila prepared the herbs And she had a husband. She had home. She had all good things in life. After receiving all the good things in life, Orurumbi failed to be thankful to Ifa. In this story, this is a verse about a woman by the name of Olurumbi. And Olurumbi was an interesting kind of individual. What she would do in the morning when she would wake up, she would never pay homage, to Ifa. And she would only go to Orumila with complaints. But Orumila took a special liking and support for her. And every time she would come to Orumila, once she came and she said, Orumila, she had been praying to Orumila, and Orumila said, "Well, good morning, Olorumbi." Olorumbi shrugged him off. And Ifa said, why are you, basically, why are you dissing me? And she said she's been praying to Ifa for a long time and she doesn't have a husband. Orumila prepared herbs, made a bow, did various things, and helped her, gave her the charm for this, and soon she became a happily married woman. Then Olorumbi was in the midst of Orumila again. He saw her. He said, "Good morning, Olorumbi." Olorumbi shrugged him off. And Orumila said, "Orumila, why, Olorumbi, why the disrespect?" And she said, "I've been praying to you for a long time, and I don't have a stable home or money." Orumila prepared the herbs. He did everything he could do. He gave it to her. Within 2 months, she had wealth. Her and her husband had a stable home. And this process of ingratitude and lack of regard went on for some time. Orumila continued to bless Olurumbi over and over and over and over and over again, to no avail. Olurumbi didn't appreciate a thing. And then finally, Olurumbi approaches Orumila. He says good morning to her. She shrugged him off again, dissed him again, and he said, "Ugh, what's wrong this time?" She said, "I've been praying to you all this time and I don't have a child." And Orumila said, "Well, you will need to go to the Iroko tree and go there. You make your plea and you'll have your child." Because at this point, Ifa even had reached his saturation, or Rumila had reached his saturation point with her. So she went to the tree, and there were lines of women approaching this tree, and all of them were there for one thing. All of these women would go to the tree and they would say, "Oh, Iroko tree, I have been barren for X amount of years, and I will offer you one she goat if you will ensure by this time next year I will be pregnant. I will give you the she goat as soon as I deliver." So the Iroko tree would nod and sanction the blessing. And this went on. A long line of women. They would go and they would make their plea and continue. And Olorumbi looked at this and she was like, "These stupid women, they're praying to a tree. All right, we'll see." So it got to Olorumbi's turn, and she got to the tree and she said, "You know what, Iroko tree, if you give me a child, I will give you the child the following year. I will sacrifice my own child to you if you give me a child. All I want is the experience of being pregnant. That's all I want." And the Iroko tree was like, "Wait a minute, are you sure?" She was like, "Of course I'm sure." Asked her 3 times. And each time she said, "I will give you the child. I will give you the child. I will sacrifice this child." So many times, through arrogance and bad character, moments of anger, moments of fury, moments of not thinking so clearly, we sacrifice not only our lives, but we put our own children's lives in jeopardy out of our own arrogance. So Olurumbi said this, and the Iroko tree said, Ashe. And shortly thereafter, Olurumbi became pregnant. And she gave birth to the most beautiful child. And of course, when Olurumbi looked upon her child, she fell in love. She was like, oh my God, how could I give this child up? How can I slaughter my baby? Then she went to Ifa and cast Ifa again. Orunmila said, you got yourself into quite a bit of a pickle this time. We need to offer a bow, but I need to implore Eshu Odara in everything that we're going to do. And so Orunmila offered the abo with a goat. And he told her, when you go to the Iroko tree with your baby, I want you to make your supplication, but then I will implore Eshu Odara to assist. So she went and she made her plea to the Iroko tree. Iroko tree was like, I want my baby. I want the baby now. And Eshu Odara, as she put the baby down in its swaddling clothes, Eshu switched the little baby for the head of the goat and began to sing a song, basically saying, you have taken this head. One cannot take a head twice for the same thing. You have taken this head. And as the Iroko tree brought the head up to him and opened it and realized that it was the head of a goat and not the head of a child, then Eshu began to sing that song even louder, basically saying, you can't take a head, two heads for the same situation. You've taken this head, now that's it. This is what you take. You will not have this baby. Many times in being a parent, we have to put not only our lives on the line, but we have to put our prayers on the line in order to save ourselves and save our children. That is good character. But the bad character is leaving our children in jeopardy, just as Olurumbi did. But later, she learned her lesson. In the Odu Ifa, Irete Otura, Ifa says, Okin's mother offered a bow, and Okin became prosperous. One's mother is indeed the architect of one's prosperity. Also, one's mother is the architect of one's wretchedness. Olokoshe's mother failed to offer a bow, and Olokoshe became wretched. One's mother is indeed the architect of one's wretchedness. When we speak of this, what Ifa is saying to us is that our parents, through their actions, they have the ability to guide our life. They have the ability to transform the character of us, part of its nature, part of its nurture. And through nurturing in the correct way, they can assist in transforming our lives. In this regard, Okin and Olokoshe, both of them were the sons of the Alafin, the king. And Okin, his mother, was like the second wife, and Olokoshe's mother was the first wife. So Olokoshe, of course, was the shoe-in to be the king. What happened is Olokoshe was raised to be lazy. He was raised to stay in bed till 1 in the afternoon, while Okin was raised to get up, do his chores, follow the advice of the elders, and to be a good child. Olukoshe was not given any boundaries, and he was just taught that the world would give him everything because, in a sense, he looked at the world as if the world owed him something. Olukoshe, on the day that their father died, the kingmakers called Olukoshe because he was the shoe-in for being king. And they said, look, your turn to be king, you must come into the forest, but you have to come up into the forest at 4 a.m. That is the time that we make kings. You must come. Olukoshe said, I'll do my best. And in him doing his best, it availed to nothing. It amounted to nothing. He tried, and the closest he could wake up was at 10 a.m., not 4. So he then asked his brother Okin, help me. I need you to go into the forest and get something. But you gotta go 4 a.m. You ought to be able to do it because you've been waking up early all your life, doing chores, handling business, and he sent his brother in to do the work, not knowing that he could not walk into the forest and come back the same. He was going to receive something that he could not give to anyone else. He was going to become a king. The kingmakers saw Okim walk in and they were dumbfounded and they was like, well, he's of the bloodline of the king. He's here at 4 a.m. This is the king, y'all. This one is the king. They made him a king. And when we see this, what this is telling us is that the way we raise our children, it is as if we are raising our own wealth. What we put into our kids is what will ensure even our own greatness in the future. It will ensure our names are carried on further into existence and our legacy. And Olukoshe's mother failed to realize that. So I want to give one last story of Ifa, and this comes from the Odu Ifa, Irete Menchi. And this is a time when Orumila himself had to make amends and nurture and save his own child. This is the Ifa of Poroye, and Poroye was the daughter of the queen of Olojudo and the king of Idofaboro. Her mother was the queen of Ido, but she was not the queen of Ido area. She was a prominent leader in that area when she married the king. Poroye was also a leader in the Egbe and Mary, the spiritual mates group. She was married, but she had no children at the time. Poroye was also an Akwetebi, which means that she is a woman that needs to be married to Babalawo in order to manifest the full aspects of her destiny and also to nurture her on a spiritual and medical and psychological level. And her husband was advised that he needed to initiate to Ifa. But Poroye's husband didn't listen. He didn't follow the advice. At the same time, Orumila was told that he too needed to offer a bow in order to avoid any sort of evil befalling him within the next 7 days. And at that time, Orumila himself, he did not heed the advice. He had come from home from a long trip, and as Orumila arrived home, he realized that his wife, Agbonrin, she had left him. And Orumila desperately wanted to have Agbonrin back. So he took a special charm and he stuck this charm, it was a knife, into her footprint to stop her wherever she was so he could find her. And when he found her, Agbonrin didn't want to be found. And she tried to leave. And as she was running away from Orumila, she fell into a very deep pit. And Orumila grabbed her as she was falling into a pit, and he too fell into the pit with Agbonrin. She was killed instantly by the fall. And Orumila didn't die, but he could not climb out of the hole. So as he was stuck in this hole with his dead wife, Poroye went for Ifa consultation. Ifa told her that she needed to offer a bow. And as she offered a bow, she was also told that she needed to carry two baby slings with her to the abo, two baby wrappers, because what she wanted, this abo, was for her to have a baby. She was then asked to offer this abo, and when she offered the abo, carry these two baby wrappers to a pit, and that would be where she would leave the abo materials and pray. So by this time, Orumila had been in the hole for at least 7 days. He had been in the hole for 7 days without any food, without any water, no sustenance, and then he hears Boroye. She came by the pit and she began to pray to Ifa. Orumila heard her from the bottom of a pit. And he called out, Iya, what Odu was that of your divination? And she responded, it was a retemeji. Orumila said, you should have been told that you needed to bring two baby slings with you. She responded, yes, they're right here. Orumila then instructed her, well, you know what? Tie those two baby slings together and help me get out of this pit. She did it. And as she helped Orumila out of his pit, then Oroye and Orumila began to talk. And they talked and talked and talked and talked. And he told her, you know, on this Ifa says that you should be married to an Awo. And she said, I know. Orumila said, and you won't be able to have the child that you want unless your husband is actually initiated to Ifa. That's the way you'll be able to conceive. And she said, I know. I'm married, but my husband is not initiated to Ifa. And Orumila and Poroye spoke and continued to speak. And one thing led to another, and they were intimate right there at the edge of the pit. Orumila told her that this child will be a boy child. And he gave her an Ide Ifa for the baby, and he instructed her to put the Ide on the wrist of the boy when he got old enough. He told her that he might not see her for a while, but both her and the child would be safe. and there would not be no problems with that child or the pregnancy. This is a very interesting point. This is a very powerful story. Paroye then decided she wasn't going to go back to her husband. She wasn't going to take that pregnancy back to her husband and jeopardize that pregnancy. So she chose to leave her husband and raise that child on her own. As she left and went into a town called Ido Faboro. And then she left her town of Ido and went and relocated in a town called Ijan. While in that town, she gave birth to the boy. The townspeople said, "Well, Ida, why don't you have the naming ceremony for your son?" And she said, "I'm not going to have the naming ceremony for this baby until his father returns." And the people of the town mocked her and they talked bad about her. They said that she didn't know who the father of this child was. As we analyze this, this is many stories of people who were raised in a single parent home. Many stories of young men who were raised in a single parent home by their mother and they didn't know their father. Their father, the relationship between their mother and father came as a result of a fling or an affair. And this challenge leaves an imprint on who they are. That is not unlike this child. His mother named him Omo. And we know what Omo means. Omo means child. She didn't even give him a name. And as a result of him not having a name, she later called him Olomo. So as we analyze this story in this verse even deeper, the aspect of barrenness, yet you have a child. In this very moment, Orumila himself was barren, but he had a child. And the child was, in essence, nameless. After 17 years, Olomo found himself in the community of Ijan, and Ijan was in the midst of tribal war, serious intertribal war. And what ended up happening is the town decided that they needed to offer a very particular sacrifice, a particular etutu. And the etutu that they needed to make was a human sacrifice. And in the process, the 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 priests, the babalaos, all the babalaos had been killed because of the intertribal war. So the townspeople, they knew the etutu that they needed to make, so they were trying to find an awo. And the only one that they could find was a babalao by the name of Orumila, who was across in another city. They called Orumila to perform this etutu. Not until after they had captured Olomo, and Olomo was going to be the human sacrifice for the town. The people of Ijan sought Orumila and asked him to be the one to perform that ritual. And in the moment Orumila approached, he was ready to do the work. And the boy began to sing a song of lamentation as he knew his fate. He sang, "A tree with dry leaves that has fresh roots, Castifa for Poroye, a princess of the king of Ido. She lamented her lack of a child. She was asked to offer a bow. When asked to carry the abo, she was told to put it near a pit. She was asked to hold two baby slings. Don't you know that it is Poroye that gave birth to Olomo? Poroye is the mother of Olowo. Orumilao Poroye is the mother of Olomo. Upon hearing this, Orumila realized, oh my God, this is my son. This is the son born out of the affair that I had with this young lady named Poroye. And he realized, oh my God, I am put in a position where I got to kill my son. And Orumila said, you know what? I have to save this boy's life. So he then consulted Eshu Odara and asked Eshu Odara, I need you. Will you accept a goat instead? Eshu Odara said yes. So what Orumila did is he asked them to prepare for him a very, very sharp knife, very sharp on one edge. On one edge, the blade should be very sharp, and then on the other edge, I want it to be very blunt and dull. And so Orumila got the boy, and he took the blunt edge of the blade and ran it across the boy's neck. It didn't cut him. And then he took the he goat and cut the neck of the goat in two. And he cast Ifa, and Ifa said that the abo was accepted. The whole town rejoiced. And everyone said, Orumila, you take this boy. He's yours now. And he realized, of course, this is my son. And he began to inquire, where is your mother? And as a result of him finding Poroye, finally, Orumila was then able to nurture his son and also to make it right and bring his family back together. In terms of this, there's so many nuggets of truth here. So many nuggets here. One, there are many times that we are in positions where it might be challenging to deal with our children. It might be challenging to deal with even our child's father, our child's mother. But it is only through our good character, through our ability to try to be patient, through our ability to uh, invoke and include Ifa in the plan, that we will be able to resolve the issue of contention with children, the contention with our child's mothers, our child's fathers. It is only through that process. Because even in that, the same way that Orumila had been put in a position to exterminate his own child is the same way many of us can be put in a situation where we say, you know what, I don't even want to fool with the mother no more. I don't want to fool with his father no more. And in that process, the child is over there or the child is split. Barren with children. In that regard, we too, when we cut off that communication, when we sacrifice that love, we too can be barren with children. If we have children all over the place and don't make amends with the mother and child, we can be barren with children. In the Odu Ifa, Ogunda Ifa says, now children are one's prosperity in the end. Whether we travel to the forest or travel into the plain, children are our prosperity in the end. Our children are our prosperity. Our children are our means to elevate. Our children are our means to not only be successful, but to also project ourselves into the future with our legacy. That is the way in which we will be like Orisha, because there will be others to speak favorably on our name, our memory, and our legacy. So as we move forward, let us value ourselves and value our children and nurture and bring together our families. Aboro Aboy. So I thank you all so much for tapping in with us today. Um, if you like the things that we're doing here at Idinka, please, please support the movement, support the work, share, like, and share the things that we post, and let other folks know, and also, contribute if you're into it. Um, Along with that, every Friday we teach an IFA class. So if you all are interested, everyone is invited. We do an IFA class every Friday night, 6 p.m. Pacific time. We also do Makings of Men. Makings of Men is going to happen. It's a group for men to develop rites of passage and spirituality, and that will be happening this Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Also, we were doing Itarogun. Itarogun, we just cast it this past Oshe Ifa. The Odu that we cast was Osai Wori. And if you all would like to be involved or contribute to the Abo, you can go to the website. That's the best place to go to get involved with that. And we just look forward to doing more and greater works with the community and working together with the community. We have more things coming up, and please go to the website www.idinkaifatemple.com if you'd like to learn more about who we are and what we do. So with that, Olodumare, we ask you to continue to ward off death, to continue to ward off sickness, cases, controversy, fights, litigation, losses, and outright fights. Negative forces, please remove those from us and bring to us long life, spouse, good children, peace of mind, joy, success, and victory. Help us to truly live a life of good character so that we will be fertile with ideas, life, and fertile with children. Ashe, Aboro Aboye, Aboshishe, Aboto. Thank you all so much. All right, thank you all so much. Aboro Boy.